The sight of Ben Cousins running the media gauntlet has become a familiar one. But for once, it won't worry Ben at all. For tonight, he's back in Eagles colours and ready to do what he does so well, play football. In the trauma of the year that's been, at times, that seemed unlikely to ever happen again.
Cousins lives a colourful life. He infamously bolted from a police booze bus and escaped after a marathon swim. He's been in nightclub fights and been locked up. The Brownlow medalists' fall from grace complete last night.
So I've decided to stand down as captain of the West Coast Eagles Football Club.
It's unclear if Cousins remains in Melbourne after being arrested near Crown Casino early yesterday morning for public drunkenness.
The West Coast Eagles suspending trouble star Ben Cousins.
West Coast describes the current situation with its problem child as untenable.
It's time that Ben is suspended from the club to go away and try and tackle these personal and private issues head on.
The AFL's most famous fallen star is winging his way to drug rehabilitation in the US.
Cousins has since arrived home to a blaze of publicity and flashing lights.
I apologise to the West Coast Eagles Football Club.
The Premiers have pencilled in a round 16 comeback at Subiaco against fierce rival Sydney.
Yes, that is a sight, the West Coast Eagles team with Ben Cousins in the lineup. The thousands of West Coast supporters are ready to see and endorse thoroughly as the Eagles get ready to run onto Subiaco Oval as they take on their old rivals, their new rivals. They're certainly rivals, the Sydney Swans. There he is after all the trauma and drama of the year. Ben Cousins is only metres away from getting a tumultuous roar from the crowd. There's a lot of love in the air at Subiaco. The Eagles and Ben Cousins back as one. And on the ground, Anthony Hudson and Michael Voss with you from Subi tonight as the Eagles just about break the banner. Michael Voss, it's an enormous roar.
It certainly is, and the reaction you would expect. And everybody is actually on their feet right now as the Eagles have come onto the field. So quite a remarkable feeling down here, Hutto. But doesn't he look fantastic? He absolutely looks real good, Nick. He's been chiselled out of stone, and they've been waiting for this moment a long, long time. And everyone's waiting for Ben Cousins to take the field again for the West Coast Eagles.
Well, Cousins just away to our left here, and the crowd on their feet is only metres away from us, and they are just going nuts right now. How will he be feeling, do you think?
Well, he'd be nervous, and especially with the reception he's just received. I mean, I've got goosebumps just standing here. So
like that,
it is remarkable, and I mean, it's been a long journey for him, and let's just hope that this is the last chapter of that journey.
Well, so do you think he'll make a good contribution tonight? He's starting on the bench. Is that a good move?
Well, I think it is, just to be able to see the game a little bit, settle the nerves, and look, the best and worst of Ben Cousins is not far apart.
Well, they're taking on the Sydney Swans, of course, tonight. We know the Eagles have been struggling. The Swans, too, haven't been in great form, but they've put a couple of wins together over Freo, and last week 62-point winners over Carlton. Are you a believer?
Oh, look, I am. They hang in there as typical Sydney Swans fashion. They know how just to be able to scrap it out, hang into the season, and then hopefully in the back end of this season they can string a few wins together and get back and a firm fixture in that top 8.
Well, of course, it's not as though we actually needed to spice up the game with Cousins' return. There's enough riding on it anyway.
On a night guaranteeing drama. Questions, search for answers. Are these Eagles gone? How bad is Chris Judd's groin? Has the hangover kicked in? Can this forward line kick enough goals? But the biggest questions of them all swirl around one man. How do his teammates really feel about Ben Cousins? Are they about to fly the flag for their fractured champion? Can he hit the ground running? Is his hammy okay? And what of the Swans? Are they building again?
Swans are back in front.
Is there another premiership tilt within? Is Barry Hall about to ignite? Questions. One thing we already know is this: that based on recent history, we are set for another modern-day thriller.
What a mark! Can he kick a goal? Yes, he can!
Surely, despite what's come before between these two, that can't happen again. Can it? Can it? Can it? Can it? Can it?
Time for answers. Malcolm Blight, you're the man. Will the Eagles be up for Ben Cousins, or might he be a negative?
No, look, I think the players really like him. Dean Cox said during the week he can't wait to get him back, so that'll do me.
Should Chris Judd be playing or resting?
No, I watched him closely last week. I thought Kane Corns did a really good job on him, and Juddy tried hard. He is a bit down, but not that much.
It's the time of year where Paul Roos seems to ripen up his Swans. Are they ready to go?
He's done it the last 3 or 4 years. You wouldn't count him out, would you? But this is a pretty tall order tonight, though.
And what about the Eagles? They've won 2 out of 7. Are they gone?
No, definitely not. I think with their ins this week, I think they look as good as they've looked for a while.
There's a massive question mark over the Swans' ability to win tonight because neither Barry Hall nor Ty Kennelly will take their place in the lineup. You might have seen Luke Vogels run out with the Swans in number 38. Heath Grundy also takes his place in the Swans team. A massive blow. There's the Eagles lineup. Note on the interchange bench, B. Cousins.
Yeah, I agree with Michael Voss. I think just let him have a look at it, but I would think in the first 10 minutes he'll be on the ground without doubt.
Hansen, a very important return. They seem to win when he's there and they struggle without him.
Yeah, we saw him down in Tassie, Tim, and he was good early when the Eagles were going well, and they've missed him. He's that lead up forward.
Well, there's the Swans lineup. Can they possibly win without Hall and Kennelly?
Well, Barry Hall kicked 4 goals last week. Grundy and the guy on the bench, Tim mentioned, Vogels, they're going to have to kick 3 or 4 goals between them, I think. And noticing Everett and probably Jolly, the 2 ruckmen, will play up forward as well, and they're in goal-kicking form.
Well, the modern history of clashes between these two teams is quite extraordinary. What a moment this is. This is a bit like John Greening in 74 or Peter Hudson in 73, although the circumstances are quite different.
It is, and I think every person is very keen for Ben Cousins to get his life back in order, and that means playing good footy.
Well, the crowd are pouring into Subiaco. The last 6 encounters between the two teams have been decided by just the 1 kick. The last 3 of them by 1 point. We'll be back with the first bounce after the break.
Welcome back to Subiaco Oval. Ben Cousins getting some last-minute treatment on that hamstring, which caused him a little bit of a problem a couple of weeks ago when he had that false start to his long-awaited AFL return. But a bit of a nod and a wink to the nearby trainers, and he said he's okay to go. Ben Cousins back. Who can believe that his comeback was 6 pages in midweek, was about 6 minutes into sports bulletins because it was all about the Fremantle Dockers. But tonight, he's the headline act. Overcast conditions, slippery down the middle of the ground. Those clouds look ominous, but we're told there's not going to be a lot of rain in those. At the moment, it is 16 degrees, heading for a low of 11, but it's a hot atmosphere at Subi Oval.
Good on you, Goss, and Michael Voss and Malcolm Blight with us tonight, along with Tim Lane. Who are you going for, Blighty?
Going for the Eagles, Anthony.
Vossy?
Eagles, well, I think they'll win.
Well,
what about that for what could have been a massive anti-climax? Ben Cousins getting work on the hamstring during the warm-up. Imagine if he hadn't have lined up after all of this.
And Everett full forward too, Anthony.
You might remember those faces, Tim, that O'Loughlin and the man in the crowd. You remember his name?
He became famous for at least 48 hours.
Can you remember his name?
No, you've got it, Hutto.
I think it's Daniel Williams from memory. We're ready to go. Let's concentrate on the names that matter. These two teams going at it again. We know they're going to go hard. They always do. And the results are not usually decided until the very end. And Chris Judd just doing his own little fitness test there.
And quite frankly, if you've got a really bad groin, you can't run that quick, Michael. I don't care what anyone says. He came through absolutely beautifully then.
Look at that crowd around the ball. Massive players. Cox flipping it clear. Hansen, Judd. Eagles working it around. Chick from 48 made good contact. Just couldn't quite get the swing on the ball. The first score is a minor.
Well, certainly Sydney would have spoken about taking the crowd out of the equation before the game. So they'll want to get a good start against the West Coast Eagles when there's a little bit of emotion attached to this game.
As always, Malcheski finds his man deep in defence, and Craig Bolton, part of this frugal Sydney defence from over the years. Ooh, a bit of a dangerous kick, rolls the dice. Seaby's good with the contested marks. He's up there for the Eagles, couldn't bring it down, but he's given Rowan Jones a chance. He ventures forward Really, in terms of kicking goals, pretty good with the assist. But again, the radar not online there, and the Eagles with a couple of opportunities.
Such a contrast to see the big banner for Rowan Jones. Played his 150th away. It was celebrated at home tonight, but of course very much in the shadow of the Ben Cousins return. And Rowan Jones, one of those unsung heroes for West Coast. Malcheski wanting to be careful after Craig Bolton's calamity a moment ago.
We should just mention too, Tim, that there is a bit of wind assistance for the Eagles in this first quarter.
It was Grundy receiving the kick in, one of the late inclusions. Now, good option is Fosdyke, able to break away. And the Swans cross the centre for the first time, but not for long.
And that was a result of the wind then. That wind is blowing to the Eagles' end, but certainly to that side of the ground.
Stenglein to Waters, to Embley. Norm Smith medalist, of course, against Sydney in the grand final. Matthews, though, and O'Keefe. Jude Bolton, good pressure, good contest. Swans now do win their way forward. Everett cleverly, and O'Keefe to an unguarded goal. How will it bounce? It bounces into Daniel's lap. Swans get the first.
If you can.
Peter Everett's in his best form since joining the Swans. Kicked 4 last week, and that is what you call an assist, and that is what I'm not sure what you call the goal.
I think
got a few names for it.
I think you call it a mongrel.
Certainly not a mongrel as far as the Swans are concerned. Important after the Eagles were doing the early attacking. Sydney showed a bit of respite. Now they've got the lead, and they're trying to surge again. We'll get a look at some of those matchups soon, and remembering that Goods and Judd have often gone head-to-head here, haven't they, at Subiaco over the years?
They have. If we look on screen there, it's actually Selwood going with Goods right now. So he's got the matchup, the big matchup for the day.
We had Acker Cam a few weeks ago. I think we might have Cousins Cam tonight by the look of things. Out onto the wing. Staker back in the team, one of the biggish names coming back for the West Coast Eagles. Here's another one, Hanson. We know his name has been synonymous with victory for the Eagles. Staker backing up his early pretty good work. Could have gone to Lacroix, and maybe should have on reflection, but really had the chance to score a goal. The Eagles have been astray early doors.
Well, he gave himself the space. He just took that little sideward step to the left to give himself enough room to get it on the boot. Just didn't quite steady.
Just those matchups. Looks like Brett Kirk's running with Daniel Kerr.
Oh, Quinn. It's been almost all the Eagles, but the Swans have the only goal. Malcheski to Bevan, to Matthews. Swans always cool. Clever Fosdyke. Jude Bolton to Kirk. And he pokes it into half forward. West Coast have it covered. Bo Waters. Very important player back there for the Eagles. Now Kerr. The Eagles with most of their midfield machine back for this game. And there's one who was missing for the first half of the season. Embley back to Kerr, mown down in an unforgiving Kirk tackle. But Embley's there to help out. Cox will be mown down. Swans hitting the Eagles hard. Braun, though, to Hearn, who is a long kick. And he kicks this to the 50. And Lynch, Barry right with him. Jude Bolton. Malcheski will be under the pump.
Let's get down to Tim Gossage for any news on Ben Cousins.
He's not going to be a party pooper, but he did run the boundary line. He did a high kick with that right hamstring. He's just sitting in the dugout now with a tracksuit top on. But guess what, boys? He's about to come on. There he is now. He's ready to go.
I'll give us the atmosphere in a moment, Tim. Meanwhile, the game goes on. Stenglein, Cousins still warming up off camera. Sets it up. A chance for Lacroix. Not a good chance, but a better grab for Hanson. There was a bit of pushing and shoving going on.
Well, Tim, we spoke about Hanson before the game, and he's a missing link in this team. He's so important.
Here it is. A standing ovation for Ben Cousins. Haven't seen that too many times. A player getting an ovation like that coming off the bench. But after 15 weeks of absence, Ben is back.
Now, just to set this right, Hanson kicks the goal and they scream again. Is that in the script, Hutto?
Don't think it'll be quite be as loud as that one. Blighty and Hanson. No, doesn't get his roll right. So that's 4 misses from 4.
It's been stated how important Cousins is to the team. Hanson is very, very important to this team also. just be able to lead, create the space. The second and third efforts that he provides, just a good foil for Lynch.
How lucky is he? He's come on the ground and there's a kick out. It's all in the zone, so no one's actually gone there to niggle him or pick him up and welcome him back to footy.
We'll find out that in a moment.
Will he be sledged?
No, he won't be sledged. I reckon good players you don't say a word to. They might stir him up.
Looks like Fosdyke might be the man, but we'll know more in a minute.
Perth a buzz at this, believe it or not, on the blackboard of our hotel, which heralds the events of the day. At 7 o'clock tonight here, there's a conference, good versus evil. Good evening, Robert Walls, if you're watching. As the Eagles work it forward, but Sydney are holding firm. Schneider dropping the mark, and Hanson letting him know about it. An electric start, and that was an unforgettable moment when Ben Cousins came back into football. Staker losing it. Goods, another Brownlow medalist. There are a few of them out there. Off to Ablett, and here go the Swans again. They've been economical so far. One entry for one goal. There won't be an entry here. It's a free kick to Hunter.
And it appears that Ablett will be his partner for the day, as in Cousins.
In theory, he's going to play half forward, isn't he? Just drift up the ground and just get his legs, find his feet. He's already had the one touch, of course.
And he might get a second here. McVeigh now looking on him, so we'll know for sure shortly.
I'd love to know what the coach's rules were there. I would suggest give Ben an easy one early.
Well, they've done that a couple of times. Cox tries to get in the right. Here's Staker, what an impression he's made so far. Lynch now. Oh, we know he makes an impression. When he gets near the footy, he'll never die wondering with big Quentin Williams, that's for sure.
That was long, direct play. Staker took him on and just drove it into the forward 50. And as good forward should, playing in front.
Hasn't been great on the set shot this year. 21 goals, 23, but kicked 3 goals, 1 last year. Let's see if he's found the range early on. No, he's following his teammates at the moment.
Well, that's 2 set shots from the centre forward and the full forward, and both with minor scores.
Might just ask Goss down there if you can hear us, Tim, just what the conditions are like again, weather-wise.
The breeze is going to the left. If anything, it really does swirl around. Those flags are a bit deceptive because they're above the stand. It shouldn't be bothering this kicking. They're just aiming them out right and they're staying right.
Kirk's played on. Barry. And he gives to Dempster. As usual, there's 1 point the difference. Sydney have kicked a goal. West Coast have 5 behinds.
Well spotted, Tim.
5 metres, Johnny.
It's extraordinary that Sydney are in front, isn't it? It has been all West Coast. Sydney have gone forward once for a long goal to O'Keefe to an unguarded goal. Dempster ran a long way and Judd got him at the last minute. Glass can only see it over.
The inside 50's 5-1 at the moment.
West Coast have dominated play, but you still want to capitalise it on the scoreboard. You don't get a lot of opportunities to be able to do that, so have to capitalise.
Cousins waiting behind as Cox got the double-fisted down. Nick Davis had the read on it. Let's see the result of the kick. Darren Glass, who had his hands full last week. The West Coast Eagles defence all did, but Westhoff was a bit of a handful for both he and Hunter. No Barry Hall tonight to worry about, of course. Tyson Stengel on another one back in the team.
It's been good early too. He's had 5 quick touches.
Been getting
found
more
a bit of the ball.
They are going out of their way to find Ben Cousins. It almost came unstuck, but it might yet create the run they like to do so well here at Subiaco in the space. Kerr, who was brilliant in round 1 against the Swans. For Hanson, didn't handle it the way he would have liked. Neither did Cousins. Dempster and O'Keefe both effective there. So too Matthews.
Played.
Good strong work, as you would expect, from Beau Waters, who thrives on that sort of stuff. And this man doesn't mind it either. Chick for Hearn, and the Eagles can bolt. And we'll get another look at the fitness of Chris Judd. And now Selwood can take them into attack. Perhaps.
Looks like Selwood and Goods, the 37s, pitted against each other. Cox Into the man on the mark. Everett sees it over. Couldn't get it over Mount Everett. So the two big men, and this should be an intriguing battle. Peter Everett played his first game for Sydney, of course, against the Eagles, but settling in now and playing some very good football for them. Kirk can stake it, stuck between Kirk's legs. Does that mean he's holding it? Apparently not.
Hope not.
Well, you could argue certainly that Everett's there because of they thought that they needed that extra ruckman, the Sydney Swans, to take that next step against a Dean Cox from West Coast.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if there's anything wrong with Michael Braun. We might get to Goss on that in a moment.
A Spider wriggling away, getting his kick clear. Glass with O'Loughlin. Bit of a break for Darren Glass from Barry Hall, but O'Loughlin won't be easy. Tim Gossage.
Yeah, Michael Braun just coming off Ginger might have got a whack on the hip as he was in that contest in the middle of the ground. He's walking the boundary at the moment, looking a little proppy, but a smile on his face. It won't be too bad.
So Cox again against Everett. Fosdyke. Both these teams very effective at the clearances, and this is why. It's men like this. Judd for Jones. Now it's an open square. Can he break the drought? He might just do it. Finally a goal for the Eagles.
Everyone's smiling, although Paul Roo's little wry grin might hide a fair degree of tension. West Coast get there first at last. Seaby goes into the ruck and brings down Kirk from behind. Free kick, it was there. Groan from the crowd. Thought the Eagles might have been lucky in the lead up to that goal as Beau Waters had a big swing in a bit of a crowd off the ground. Great steal by Chick, and the Eagles are away again, but the kick's poor. Dempster camped under it, takes it confidently and gives to Malcheski. Now McVeigh. Sydney could be well pleased to be within 5 points.
And now a second entry coming up, Tim, still.
Cox having a breather as we saw Seaby take the centre bounce, so Sydney work it around.
Dempster's loose, Tim. I just couldn't find out who was the Eagles one at that centre bounce. Dempster's been loose quite a while. He's been the spare bloke. So that means the Eagles. John Worsfold doesn't like this happening.
He's got 17 behind the ball. McVeigh, though, breaks, and running forward for him is leaping Leo. Can he balance on the left? He just might not quite. Good pressure. O'Keefe, who kicked there first, not so successful here.
Leo's been in rare goal-kicking form this year. He's kicked 3 after about a 4 or 5 year absence from kicking goals. Now Hunter, who we know does work at both ends of the ground. He's gone to a 2-on-1 in favour of Sydney. And that's a pretty good result for the Eagles. Although Ted Richards has got other ideas despite the persistent work of Rowan Jones, who's still running around in circles. Terrible handball from Bevan and gave Dempster no real chance.
Well, it was poor awareness, really. I mean, he was right in front of him, right in his line of vision, yet he still gave it to the player.
And Lynch is now to get away, but not where the ball was landing. Again, Rowan Jones. Back for Rosa. Schmidt with the tackle. Kerr's been relatively quiet. That's not a bad way to put a bit of a stamp on the game. Staker's away here if Hearn can get it to him. It took a bit longer than he would have liked. And so now one for someone to take a big grab perhaps, or it might have to be someone in the crowd. It's only 1-5 to 1-1.
They have been wasteful, haven't they? It's really been their skill under pressure, although the Swans are excellent. Great tackle from behind. But just haven't quite come to terms with the skill. It is a bit breezy out there. Tim Gossage, is it a bit swirly down on the ground?
It always is, Malcolm, yes, but to be honest, it's not. It shouldn't be affecting the skill level it is. It is a bit slippery underfoot, especially in the corridor.
Now, out of bounds as Grundy from behind the line has perhaps gone forward of it as he's tried to kick. Saw that at Telstra Stadium when Sydney played Collingwood a couple of weeks ago. Seaby bringing it to the back and then trying to burrow under, but Everett comes out with it. Dempster, now Cousins. Chick laying the shield for him. Cousins with time, and he puts it into the right spot, although there's a bit of altitude on it. Hunter gone forward, big leap. Kirk, though, to Malcheski. Not much forward of him. Now Schneider, and can't see anything to go to. Delayed a bit long.
Played.
Kerr, brilliant. Lynch there for him. So's Waters, but McVeigh gets a hand in, and they're playing championship football as they always do. There's no one in the Swans front half, so Rosa has time to get back, collect and evaluate the options.
Interesting play for the Eagles. There was always that person in the middle, yet they looked first wide. It's a really interesting defensive mechanism that John Worsfold has.
Jones to half forward, Goods and Dempster. It's got all the hallmarks again, hasn't it? This is of another epic struggle. Tough bounce for Vogels. Selwood. Can they get some fluency inside 50? They haven't really been able to, even though they have been a bit inaccurate in front of goal. Haven't had that many easy shots, the Eagles. Jones has been busy, as we've mentioned. Goods, Judd, and another ball up likely here.
Well, what's also transpired is Goods has gone back to Judd. Judd, great effort by Kerr, throwing his body in. Pocket rocket, no doubt, but that is a big matchup. Goods is trying to shake the tag of Selwood, and he's gone back to play on Judd.
Well, Judd's been a magnificent player when these two sides have met over the last 6 occasions, the last 6 thrilling occasions. He's averaged 29 possessions a game. And of course, there's Ben Cousins, who's probably finding running around in a match a little different to all that training he's been doing on his own. And then with his team in the last couple of weeks. Everett into a pretty dangerous area. Stenglein was sweating. Still a chance for a number of Eagles, including Kerr. Selwood's there, Stenglein, Hansen, but we'll do it all again.
Now there are the entries, and that for a 4-point lead for West Coast. 7 minutes left in the quarter. The Eagles deep in attack again. The Swans' defence has held up superbly. Kirk bangs it clear. Good tackle on Vogels by Brett Jones.
Good tackling. Good tackling, no chance.
I think the Eagles are better off being out here, more away from goal than towards goal. It's almost they want to hit it back.
Seaby, bit of a shunt on Everett, ruled legal. Cousins getting it out. Chick, Kirk, likes it in there. Did it well. Jude Bolton. Awkward for Grundy. Hunter works it away from him. Cousins and Kirk. And it is so fierce and tight. Jude Bolton bangs it forward, and there are only 2 in the 50. And Glass leads his man to it. Jolly. Might have been in the back from McVeigh. Brett Jones for Hearn. There is not an easy possession to be had out there. And McVeigh keeps Hearn off, and he wins the free kick brilliantly.
That's a great tackle.
Tremendous effort. Jared McVeigh. Swans can have another crack.
Cousins has a rest, but there's no rest out there. Malcheski. Good positioning for Fosdyke, but Waters wasn't giving anything away. Judd also coming off. The Swans with their next entry into 50. They've now had 3. That is a great tackle from McVeigh. The margin is back to 3.
Didn't he do well to get one wrist and prevent Hearn from getting it off in a legal manner? Staker. Oh, overshot the mark. Just about let Goods in.
Well, Ben Cousins is having a rest, as we mentioned, and he would just be so satisfied to be able to get that first 10 minutes of football out of the way.
He's had 5 possessions.
Yeah, so struggling.
McVeigh off the outside of the boot, intentionally, cleverly. Fosdyke. Swans in the 50 again. O'Keefe might be their danger man up there. Fosdyke back for more. Prittis though. Waters turns it over, and Matthews makes him pay.
You do wonder what happens there, don't you, when a player inexplicably gives it up to the opposition, whether it was the voice or just a panic.
You summed it up well, Tim, though, a moment ago. There is just no easy possessions out there at the moment, is there? Everyone is hard-earned. Matthews, who was the goal kicker for McVeigh again, who's having a pretty good go at it the last month or so. Fosdyke, and clear is Vogels.
Well, that eventuated that mark just for the sheer fact that one player had their eye on the ball and one didn't. One got a little bit lost, took his eyes off the ball and watched the man just for that split second, and that's all he needed to be able to get that meter and take an uncontested mark.
So here he is, Luke Vogels, kicked 2 goals so far in his 2 matches this year. And he has let himself down there. Late inclusion along with Grundy tonight for Hall and Kennelly. Swans, despite that, lead by 4.
So much lead up to this match that it's almost overlooked that this is such a crucial game for both teams. Fine mark, Rowan Jones. Braun. Cousins. He's made a pretty good start. Third mark. Gives to Kerr. 6 disposals to Cousins. Braun back to Kerr. And the big Q has had to come to the other side of the centre. And even he can't do it from there. He makes it about halfway as he takes it wide. And Rowan Jones couldn't quite pick it up. O'Keefe working back. Jude Bolton. Swans working so hard on the defensive side. Throw in.
And they're pushing hard back into defence too. All their numbers are in the defensive area of the ground. They're really pushing hard up the ground and leaving the space in their forward 50.
Again, Kerr.
Lock it out! Lock it out! He didn't drag it at all.
When this Eagles midfield is up and running, they are just sensational to watch.
And there it is, Sydney Swans. You had, at times, that's only been 1 player forward of that stoppage. They're really pushing hard down into West Coast forward line.
He's not making up the numbers, is he, Ben Cousins, tonight? Hearn. And for some of the young players, I guess, first or second time they're experiencing this intense Sydney West Coast rivalry. Rosa, again, they just haven't been able to get the right kick into the 50. They've been in enough 10 times.
This sort of heat, I've just written down some names. Cousins, Hanson, Sting, Glide, even Embley. A lot of them haven't played a lot of footy. I mean, it's obviously coming back tonight. You wouldn't want to play at this intensity all night, would you? You get pretty tired. Eagles really need to capitalise on more of their chances.
So Craig Bolton. Ben Cousins is the leading possession earner for West Coast, having started on the bench. He's had it 7 times. It's been an extraordinary return in a football sense, showing no rustiness at all. Now goods for Sydney, who have been admirable in this first quarter. Going into the game in adversity. Oh, Goods is close to the man on the mark. Poor kick. Cox back. Cousins there again for disposal number 8. Not a good one. Rowan Jones well wrapped up. Sydney's pressure tremendous. Call of knock it out from Dean Margetts.
You have to dive on and drag it in. Let him up.
And here they go. Sydney all pushing back again.
Play on.
Cox with Cousins loose for him. Too far out to score. Got a bit excited. Poor kick. He's had 9 disposals in this comeback quarter.
And I'll tell you, there's a difference in his kicking style. He's not actually going for it, Tim. He's only trying to kick it normally. He's a much longer kick than he has. I don't reckon he's laid into one yet. He's really just easing him back in with his kicking.
Jolly getting it down. Davis. A long, long way from home. Prudis, who kicked a nice goal last week. Not this time, in fact. I don't reckon anyone's going to get out of there alive. And everyone taking a close look at proceedings tonight. There's a lot to watch. Plenty happening. Jolly, Seaby. Into the danger area. Kerr. Chick. Oh, he's hit the post.
Just for a brief moment, Ben Cousins doesn't have any opponent.
Well, it's like a big heavyweight contest here at Subiaco. These are the heavyweights of the last 2.5 years. And the Swans have been like Muhammad Ali playing rope-a-dope. They've been on the ropes from the time the bell rang, and yet they're doing just enough to have their noses in front on the scorer's card. Goods and Braun did enough despite his lack of centimetres. And we're into the last minute of a riveting opening quarter. Good effort that by Braun. Cox might have edged Jolly out there. No, it's a Shepherd.
It was a Shepherd on Ben Cousins. Tried to block for Adam Goods.
Lazy 10 touches first quarter. See that once again, he's just not quite
haven't got a lot of loft in them, haven't they? That's a free kick, surely. In Barry's back, not paid. Kirk, great hand pass for Schmidt. Put it in front of him for Schmidt to run onto. And Vogels is at the end of it. Needed to mark it. Will be in strife here. Turns it over. Brett Jones to Hearn. And back to Jones. Now, can the Eagles, in the last 20 seconds, make something of this? Selwood places it carefully. Doesn't hit a target immediately. Lacroix. Good hand in there from Fosdyke. Chicto swings it goalward and puts the Eagles in front.
It's actually been lively, Michael. Chick up forward. Had 3 shots at goal now, and that one, he's got the right kick on, the right bounce, and yeah, so that's he deserved that. He's played a really good first quarter.
Yeah, he's been in different form, so to get a good start, he's been lively.
No Barry Hall, no Tyke Kennelly. Swans have been slow starters this year. They've only won 6 out of 15 first quarters, so I don't think they'll be all that upset with the scoreline given the late withdrawals from the team. Certainly the Eagles have had many, many more chances though. 13 inside 50s to 5. Michael Voss, what do you make of the first quarter?
Well, as you'd expect with the emotions surrounding it, the Eagles come out flying. Didn't make the most of their opportunities going forward. Sydney have. They're pushing up the ground, getting numbers in the Eagles' defence, keeping their forward line open. And every time at the moment they're going forward, they're looking very, very dangerous. But the story is Ben Cousins' return.
10 possessions, not bad. Second quarter from Subi, 2-6, plays 2-3.
So the Eagles with 8 shots to 5, but only for a 3-point advantage. And the second begins as the first was played, but the Swans win it away. Fosdyke into the 50, and the bouncing ball beat everybody. Well, everybody but Adam Hunter. And he does very well, kept it in front of himself. And now Kerr makes the clearance to Chick, who was lively up forward, hit the post once, kicked a goal right on quarter time to put the Eagles in front. And Hansen, such an important player for them in the front half. Gives carefully to Brett Jones, almost on the boundary line. Barry reaching around, Lynch did it superbly, made the spoil and came up with the goods. And speaking of which, there he is.
Beautiful.
Oh, yes, and that's good too to O'Loughlin. The Swans look good here. Schneider on his preferred side. Everett one-on-one. And O'Keefe arrives. Just couldn't get the boot onto it. It's rushed through.
What about the overlapping football? It looked just sensational, that ball movement. And there's Ben Cousins. McVeigh has now gone to him. I anticipated that he'd probably go to him at the start of the game, but now, second quarter, McVeigh on Cousins.
Good coaching move, Michael. You picked it.
Cox gets away from Jolly to take the mark. He is the #1 ruckman in the league, not just because of the hit-outs, and he's the best at hitting to advantage, but also because he averages 20 possessions. It's a lot more than any other ruckman. The kick wasn't great for Hansen. Look at Judd just powering on. Not often that he's not the focus of any West Coast story. Just sure about his turning circle there. It's turned out pretty well for Ben Cousins though. He's got a bit on the ball, more loft again, just not quite the accuracy needed, and the Eagles extend their lead.
Margin 3 points as they trade behinds. Davis having to work up and down the ground, and now it's Goods. Ben Cousins 11 disposals. I mentioned Peter Hudson's comeback. Of course, that was from a serious injury, and after a longer time out, he kicked 5 goals in the opening quarter of that famous match when he was helicoptered to Waverley for a game against Collingwood. Cousins opened up with 10 disposals. The greats seem to produce as the moment demands. Cousins has number 12 out in front of Lynch. Can he have a go from there? Kept the glove on. Puts it where he wants it. Judd at the front has not quite held it. Craig Bolton takes it away. O'Loughlin. Brett Jones making the spoil. Cousins again to Kerr. This is becoming quite extraordinary. 13 to Cousins. Kerr. Rosa under the pump. Brett Jones with him. Kirk getting a hand on top of the ball.
Well, Kerr is gesturing that he should have given the hands back, and perhaps he could have. Would have been a better play.
Look who's on the disposal ladder at the number 1 position. Here's McVeigh. O'Keefe playing in front, as he does so much. He is their lead-up man, their avenue to goal. But
it's holding the ball.
Here's Judd. Good handball into space for Daniel Chick. He's a great mate of Ben Cousins, and he's digging into Staker. Grundy with a look of total disbelief.
Well, understand that, because so am I.
You know, remember watching Staker play in the wet here about 3 years ago? He had the ball on a string. Well, if he's that good in the wet, he should be good.
And caps it off with a goal. Classic catch, Malcolm?
Yes. Number 41, that's 2-2 he's done, 22 of them.
Did he mark it in the goal square? He was brought around directly in front.
It's a great mark.
West Coast by 9 points. First little gap to appear. Braun buried. Football buried.
No, I thought you had control of it, Mickey.
Ball up. Actually, in this series of epic encounters, usually one team or the other has got on top and looked like getting away. In fact, in the last 5, there's been a margin of 15 points or more at half-time.
Yep.
Judd, Kirk, tremendous pressure. Jude Bolton, Schmidt, fierce pressure. Chick bringing down Craig Bolton. That's a hot football. Malcheski went fearlessly. And they went after him like a pack of hungry dogs. And they win the free kick.
Just try to let him go.
Gee, Malcheski was stiff because he was courageous to go in and get it.
Well, Chick has been sensational, setting the standard with the attack on the ball and on the player.
Embley for Lynch. He could have a shot this time. The crowd telling him they want him to.
The gloves are off.
This is not a comment at Lynch, but just come quick. You know why? Because he had pace up at the contest. I still watch too many players stand still at contests. It's a bit frustrating. Got to be on the move. So he has given no one else a chance now other than a shot at goal. I'll get back to that.
For a 15-point lead. He won't get it. He'll get a 10-point lead.
You know when you throw your glove down, put your mouth guard in your sock, that means you're not looking at the play ahead, and I reckon there's some selfishness in that I think you can miss a teammate. And it also displays to everyone, I'm going to have a shot. You don't ever want to do that. You want to have some mystery in it.
Keep all your clothes on.
Correct. Remember that, Michael, when you're coaching?
Malcheski for Bolton. Got a lot to remember.
I've got him coaching 15 sides at the moment.
Which one is he not coaching? Here's Bolton. And again, the rundown. This is Braun. He'd be feeling happy to have his full complement of running mates back with him. Been pretty lonely and tough in the midfield in the last few weeks. Cousins for Rosa. And that's okay. There's a couple of extra Swans back. Nothing unusual about that. Boy, try catching that. Bolton did. Kerr.
Free kick.
Not paid. Judd will have a bit of time and space here. Very good central kick. Kerr was guessing a bit. It was a good effort. Everett, now Kirk. Swans have got one extra number coming out, so if they can use that effectively, they might be able to carry it all the way into attack. They draw it nicely, and now Ben Matthews. It's where to go to next. O'Loughlin's got to be committed here. He did enough against Jones, and O'Keefe's away. And he's a good man to have the footy. O'Keefe spot on.
This has been a remarkable effort by Sydney. The entries to the 50 are 18-8. They're on the wrong side of that, and yet they trail by just 4 points. They're playing championship football off the ropes. Malcheski weaves his way clear. Tremendous acceleration and a brilliant kick to O'Loughlin, who can line them up to put Sydney back in front.
Half a metre back again, please. Here, please.
Not that anything eventuated from that particular contest, but there's just little signs from West Coast where they're not manning up when they should. They're just letting them. It's not the one-on-one style that you're used to seeing from the West Coast Eagles. Just having lapses of concentration from time to time, which eventuates to shots at goal at the other end.
This for the lead. O'Loughlin. Coming in the right direction. He's got it there. Swans are in front.
It's good news and bad news for Sydney fans. O'Loughlin kicked the goal, but then came straight off. And I don't know that that's just a rotation, Blighty. That might be because he's a little bit sore. He's walking the boundary at the moment. We'll find out what sort of condition he's in.
The bookends are off with Barry on the bench as well.
And of course the other Barry sitting in the coaching box. So despite all that, the Swans are in front. Tim?
Leo Barry, right hamstring, been stretching it, came off, and Michael O'Loughlin, after he kicked that, pulled up a bit short. He also got a leg problem.
Cox. And Selwood.
It's a war of attrition, this game we play, isn't it? Be able to play 22 rounds and then play finals of football. It really takes its toll on the body.
That is not a good sign for the Sydney Swans. Braun. For the good of Embley, who possibly should have picked it up. Matthews. Kirk. O'Keefe's trying to sort it out with Goods. He let him come. And almost, but not quite. And again, we just lock it all up and do it all again.
I just think which side out there right now would think they're going okay, and not this mob again. It's just say, I look up the scoreboard, and no matter who's on top or whatever, the scoreboard doesn't change a lot, and the scores are close.
Clever kick by Kirk. Clever spoil, Rowan Jones. Hunter. Vogel's trying to get rid of him and does. Everett Vogels can't get it out. Sure, he was trying to get that out. The umpire's not so sure. He pings him. I think that is very tough.
Come out, Adam. Come out.
It is still the most the thing I hate most in football.
Rule.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go there, Tim. I've written all my letters to the AFL.
Keep writing.
Got to put a stamp on it though, Blighty.
It's just a bad rule. I don't think it spoils the game. Anyhow, as I said, I've sent all my letters. I'm just waiting for the reply.
Bevan de Schmidt, who was all but off. Sydney by 2 points. The game has been in progress nearly a quarter and a half, and this has been as good a counter-punching performance as you would ever see by the Swans, and they might be able to land another blow here as O'Keefe could line them up from there.
How good's he been, Tim?
And he's had to stand up in the absence of Hall, and he's done it all.
I mean, he has spent a lot of time up the ground in a lot of games, but to me it seems as though he's actually staying a bit closer to home.
Yeah, tonight he is, for sure.
O'Keefe from outside 50. It is a lovely kick. It is a beauty. The Swans stretch the lead.
Ryan O'Keefe taking over the mantle up forward as the man to go to, obviously in the absence of Barry Hall. Hasn't had a big goal-kicking year either, Ryan O'Keefe. Only 10 goals until tonight. 3 crucial ones in a low-scoring encounter, but they're surging at the moment, the Swans. Hearn with plenty of work to do. Hunter helps him out, but O'Loughlin must be all right. He's out there anyway. Dempster out in front of Davis, who haven't seen a lot of, certainly not in the forward line. But he has the knack of popping up, Nick Davis. And he's actually been in pretty good form this year.
Wouldn't put this beyond him either.
17 goals, 6 in 10 matches. 3 bags of 3 and 3 bags of 2. So if he does manage to kick a goal, it's a good indication he might have some more to come. That's not going to be a major. The Swans, though, increase their lead. That's out to 9.
And the stat that says it all is they've been inside the 50 12 times and they've kicked 5 goals 5. They've scored 10 out of 12 times into the 50. Incredible efficiency. 9-point lead to Sydney. Hearn waited and then was forced to go long. And at the back, Dempster just didn't realise it was going to come over the top. Another ball up.
Well, you mentioned that, and part of that is because they are pushing numbers up the field, trying to turn the West Coast defence, so they're running back towards their own goal. And that's how they've been able to generate a lot of their scores at the moment.
4 pairs of players on West Coast's attacking side of the centre. Goods levering it out for Jude Bolton. No free kick there. He was falling forward. Rosa and Prittis. But Fosdyke gets a hand in there. Rosa again. Davis.
It's hot footy.
And Schmidt just blazing. Made a good fist of it. O'Loughlin couldn't quite hang on. Another behind, but it's Sydney peppering away.
Gee, the last 8 minutes or so, it has been all the Swans. They've been inside 50 6 times to 1.
Yeah, that's it.
In that time. It is a pattern of the other 6 games, though, isn't it? Someone gets that mini break that we've talked about, Tim. It's amazing.
This is Rosa now. That's a good grab. We know he's a big kick, and he can take a decent mark as well, Hearn. For Hansen, just playing this lead-up role. "19 wins the last 21 games he's played in, although 2 of the last 3 have been losses. High one from Braun up to the 50. Yeah, that's a beautifully judged mark by Bevan.
That hung in the wind, didn't it?
It did. Yes, Tim Gossage told us there was wind.
All the way through.
And I must say that just the structure of the Eagles forward line occasionally, they do tend to run into each other. There doesn't seem to be a lot of system to open the game up for somebody else.
Vogels, and the man running kicked a goal earlier, Matthews. Well-directed kick into space. Good hands from Chick, affected Davis's efforts. Kerr loves to give and get back again. He was a bit too overexcited by what was coming though, left it behind. Snyder, McVeigh and Matthews able to contribute together. Davis into the pocket. This is O'Loughlin, Waters, Hearn's there to back up Brett Jones. O'Keefe just waiting for his moment to come. And he's actually dived on it in some ways, but there was pieces of eagle on it as well. So we've got another ball up. The Swans leading by 10 as Spider Everett and Adam Goods both having a rest for the Swans.
A couple of feathers on the footy, Hutto. Pieces of eagle. Swans by 10 points. Great steal by McVeigh. This time they don't score. West Coast haven't scored for 13 minutes. Sydney have kicked the last 3 goals with the use of the breeze, which the Eagles wasted with profligate kicking in the first term. West Coast upping the ante here. Hansen to Waters, and now Stenglein to not very much. But Brett Jones with the flight, and Hansen is running for him. He can just about go all the way. Have another one, and he kicks beautifully on the run. That's a superb goal.
Not surprised he spent Ashley Hansen after that run.
And that's what happens when you haven't played a lot of footy. You know, you can gasp for the air.
And that's why it was a great goal also, because not only you go to that long run, but it's a very tough kick to then kick it for 50 metres and still be composed.
Cousins in the middle now, getting the Eagles going. They can sense that goal. Might have just got them back on track perhaps. This is Dempster getting an unusual amount of the footy. He's had 10 possessions already. McVeigh streaming forward. Beautifully placed again for Davis. Chick will be right with him. Goods was sweating and waiting, and there's some holding on. And I said Chick was right with him. Too close, in fact.
Holding him. And let him run at it, Daniel.
It's not a security guard, is it?
I just, as we watch this in replay there, that one hang on. Well,
he's been deadly most of the time. The set shots have been just a little bit off actually in the last couple of weeks. That one was coming back. That didn't come back enough.
Been a good contributor tonight, Nick Davis. Sometimes criticised for the patchiness of his effort through games. Cousins again. Number 16, Kerr. Number 17, Staker.
Over the back, over the back.
Stengline and Lynch.
Just see Lynch then. Watch number 21. I've been watching him. That's the 7th time he's fallen over when the ball's been in his vicinity.
Now Schmidt, 2 of them coming at him. Did well to get rid of it. Oh, the heat has been on from the first bounce. And this time the Swans turn it over. Cox is running for Kerr. And the open goal beckons. And he will go all the way.
That margin again, Tim.
Well, against the flow of play, it's eerie and ironical.
Seavey doing the ruck work at the moment. Stengline. No good. Fosdyke, Bolton. But Rosa, who's averaged 20-odd possessions, has taken a more senior role than expected this year. Out for Embley, of course, the Norm Smith medalist. When he last played against the Swans on grand final day, it was a withdrawal in round 1. Cousins for the wing. Everett and Ablett. Rosa getting a little bit overexcited there with the infraction now. Ablett, what's he going to do? Could have brought it into Malcheski. Well, he does do that. Got Bolton running from the open side of the ground, so plenty of space to lead him to for the likes of Ryan O'Keefe.
We'll take 2. Yet another shot from here.
And going for his 4th. Now, there's Leo Barry trying to get the hamstring up and working again. You'd think if he's working like that, it can't be a fully torn hamstring. Here's O'Keefe.
Nice grip on the ball, this lad. I reckon it's even grip. It's a nice even grip.
He has been a 30 goals a year man, and he shows them how to do it. That's 4 for the night.
Nice up.
Ryan O'Keefe, 8 kicks, 4 goals. Sydney, 17 entries to the 50, and they've scored on 13 occasions. They're about to enter again, you would think. O'Keefe just too far out, but he's done well, and Jude Bolton might finish the job for him.
I wonder if Paul Roos is learning something about Ryan O'Keefe here, just the way he's got so much more energy tonight by not charging up and down the ground with no haul there. He's become a bit of a focal point. How good is he? He's got a big tank too, hasn't he?
Oh, big tank.
That means he can run a long distances, Michael.
He can, comfortably.
Poor kick from Bolton. 2-6 from set shots for the year. Leo Barry is obviously wanting to come back, and that might be where it happened.
Tim.
Yeah, he was in the rooms for about 12 minutes. He's been off the scene for some time. Surprised he's come out just before half-time. Probably better off staying into the break.
Another terrible kick from the Eagles back into play. O'Keefe giving O'Loughlin a chance. Davis. Oh, almost. Glass had it covered. But some more nervous moments for the Eagles defence. How he got up there and was springing into action was quite amazing. The peril hasn't passed yet unless they can double fist it through, which they can. And the margin now out to 7.
Now it is Ben Cousins' watch night, isn't it? He's had 18 touches. If he gets 2 more, that's 20. That's 40. How many blokes have come back from missing 14 weeks and been overseas and got 40 touches, Michael?
Can't think off the top of my head, Blighty. You got me on that one.
And bearing in mind that he started on the bench, he's had 40 minutes of match time. Less than a quarter and a half for 18 disposals.
Also witnessed another great comeback from Jonathan Brown against Essendon at the Telstra Dome, where he kicked 8. Had an absolute night out.
Yeah, he hadn't been overseas, Michael.
Oh, he probably did in the end-of-season trip.
Oh.
Selwood just indecisive there. Oh, he was determined to atone for it. Waters getting it out. Free kick to Waters. So Sydney by 7 points. That wasn't good, but the follow-up was from Selwood, and the Eagles come up with the ball. Number 19 for Cousins. He looks like going to half-time with 20. Hunter now. Kick a bit strong for Braun, but he was brave. He always is. Goes for Lynch.
Oh, ground again.
Judd now. Goods has got him. Lacroix. Chance for West Coast still. That's a very good kick. Was that a push? Surely it was. Not paid. Staker. Oh, did it brilliantly. That's a great goal. Margin back to
Hallelujah.
1 point.
Here's Lynch again for the autumn leaves. We're going to start calling him.
You can.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try. He's got goes to ground, but this is great from Staker. I mean, that's what. There's something in this lad. Perhaps he start believing that he can actually do it consistently. I think he's a wonderful player. Just doesn't do it enough.
Well, he was standing in the. He was standing in the goal square all by himself there for quite a while. West Coast got the ball going forward. It was just a wonderful bit of individual play, too, we've seen of him tonight.
And the game has opened up, really, hasn't it, in this quarter after being tight in the opening stanza. Here's Malcheski. Cousins again. Here's his 20th touch in the first half for Hansen. Vogel's the spoiler that time.
Oh, he's not going to fall over again.
Oh, he had 3 Swans boys picking up, throwing the ground.
No, I'm just trying to make a point. As a key forward and a big fella, I mean, he goes to ground too often, and they're always one short. No, that was, of course, he was tackled, but he just needs to keep his feet.
Jolly. Embley for Kerr. Hansen playing in front.
Here he goes, Blighty.
And he keeps his feet. And he might... No, he doesn't have a shot, and this is why. Because Ashley Hansen, who has had just the influence the Eagles were hoping, should be able to put the Eagles in front just on half-time.
There is a difference in this game. And a lot of it's not about ability, it's about what your head's thinking at the time. And that was beautifully done, because he didn't waste time then going back to throw off his glove. He played on quickly. So well done, big fella, Quinton Lynch. Is that a square off, Michael? No, it's not. It was well played.
8 disposals tonight, 4 marks, and coming in for his second goal. The last one was on the run, he was exhausted. This one should have been much easier. Maybe he's still blowing.
How else would you want it at half-time anyway?
I think the boys are pretty keen on a point, the difference.
I think we were, actually. He's just ruined it.
I'm happy with 0. And I reckon it's well earned. It's been a tremendous half of football. My only worry is that given the recent history of first half breakaways followed by comebacks, this might blow out in the second, but it's hard to see how it could. Goods for Sydney. Is there a score in it for either team? Probably not for the Swans from there. Goods, well, goes the shortest way home. Ablett, someone would have to mark it. Too late. We have a line ball at half-time. We've had a dramatic, thrilling, most incredibly competitive first half, and a comeback that'll be talked about for years. Ben Cousins, 20 disposals in under a half of footy.
And thoroughly deserved too. He hasn't lost anything. There's Chris Judd giving the former skipper a pat. Oh, look, it's a really good game. It's tight. Some highlights late in that quarter. Good result.
More highlights to come, I reckon, Blighty. Stay with us for a Saturday night special. Thank you, Tim. Yes, Bevan, the man to mind. Ben Cousins, who's pushed forward now. And they are rolling the dice with Leo Barry. We'll get down to Tim Gossage for some more details on that shortly. Second half, will it be as good as the first? Will it be as good as the last 6 amazing contests? We're about to find out.
No, you fell over, knock it out, got his hand.
Judd might be a chance. Rowan Jones backing him up. Judd will get a free kick.
No, you're holding him. You're holding his jumper.
Judd,
I saw
modest
the hole.
statistics in the first half. 3 kicks, 4 hand passes, and still, it seems, battling with his groin condition.
Well, the umpire would have struggled to give that free kick to Brownlow medalists.
What are you saying? We've got 2 up here as well.
Nothing.
Clear away, Mickey. Clear away.
That's a good kick from Judd for Embley on the lead. Just couldn't cling to it. Dempster, a bit slow to get rid of it there. Might have been lucky. Bevan Malcheski. Kirk back to Dempster. Goods. Back to Dempster again. At an awkward height. Kirk and Judd and O'Loughlin as the Swans work into their back half once more. Very difficult to get it out of there under all that pressure. But Teddy Richards does find a way out. Swans using a lot of handball here. Davis to Fosdyke. But as on the NAB analyzer at half time, they've all gone back. There's no one forward. Brett Jones takes it uncontested.
And unconvincing with the kick. Free ball for Michael O'Loughlin. Let's quickly get to Tim.
Leo Barry was heading for the bench, got a call from the bench to start the quarter, and then the Vogels went to the bench instead. The Eagles are $1.50 favourites to win this game still at half time.
Well, that might not be the case soon if Bolton has anything to do with it. But Braun in the road. Gee, used his time up and tried to keep on running. Waters. O'Loughlin in front. Hunter interfered. Free kick going to Michael O'Loughlin.
Leo Barry has actually pushed forward. So he's come back on the ground and pushed forward. Glass is picking him up.
O'Keefe. And Jones wins the day this time. A relatively rare victory for him, but a promising one for the Eagles. He just couldn't release it in the way he would have liked. O'Loughlin comes up a little lame.
Mickey O'Loughlin, free kick. Got him high.
Doesn't look all that excited about things there, Michael O'Loughlin.
Back to Mickey O'Loughlin.
New full forward for Sydney.
Yeah. Started as a half forward, as I remember it. A number of years ago now, though. A long time ago. Played up the forward line.
Now McVeigh. His 11th possession for Bevan. Still having the job of trying to contain Ben Cousins.
Just in a game like this, Michael, when you come out after half-time, you've still got a few kinks in your body, haven't you? It just takes you a while to get going in a really hard one, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly. You're very sore when you come out after half-time, just to warm up a little bit.
Hold there, thank you.
It's why often, sometimes you can get that little window of opportunity to get back into a game or get a lead.
Wonder what the wind conditions are like. We'll check that in a moment. High ball. You can see all the way. Absolutely nobody looked like they wanted it other than Ben Matthews. That was quite amazing to take an uncontested mark in this sort of contested game. 25 metres out from goal. And he has become the unlikely source of perhaps 2 goals for the Swans tonight.
And he might be just on the phone saying Braun would like you to be able to kill that contest.
Well, 3 goals, 2 for the season coming in. Ben Matthews, you can see what's ahead of him, and he can see what's ahead of him. It's a goal. The Swans lead by that.
Sydney have only had 3 goal kickers. Ben Matthews, the pinch hitter, with 2. Swans in front, drawing first blood in the second half. McVeigh's kick going backwards. Braun. Cousins immediately back into the heart of things. Stengline to Rowan Jones. Puts it into a pretty good spot. Embley taken out by Dempster. Kerr, Bevan and Hansen. Can Kerr and Hansen help each other? Hanson trying to get it to Embley, but it's stolen. Free kick.
It was there.
Got to pay it.
Yeah,
Ashley Hanson can
there.
have a shot.
Got dragged to the ground. We'll see it here. Gets dispossessed. Doesn't quite take the ball. And then gets taken to ground. They're always harsh ones, those, because the tackler never knows whether the person still has the ball. They're always really tough ones.
That was pretty fortunate. Hanson kicked a wonderful goal on the run in the second quarter and then missed badly from a set shot.
They're 1-4 from set shots tonight, Tim. The Eagles 1-4.
This is a little teaser. From only 30, he delivers the goods. It's level again.
More to come.
So once again, it is level. Cox getting it down. Judd trying. Cox, second effort, pretty good. Braun and Matthews. That duel continues. Rowan Jones, who was prominent early in the game.
Good tackling. Good tackling.
Interesting to see what John Worsfold does with Cousins here. I mean, he's brought him out after half time. He's in really good nick. Is at the time now, this opening minutes, he's got himself warm again. Perhaps a little rest now. That's a free kick.
Well, that is umpire Woodcock's first free kick he's paid tonight. Out of the 18, umpire Mark Getz has paid 13. 10 of them to West Coast. The ball inside 50. Here's Staker. Finds some space. And that won't go in the highlights reel. He's had a couple of other things tonight that most certainly will.
Just following up Cousins, I reckon he can get sucked into his really good form here. If you leave him out there for too long, he just might start fatiguing. We know he's an athlete, but 3 or 4 months out of the game's a long time.
The Eagles have won the last 5 clearances. Can they win another all-important one? Cousins breaks the shackles, and that might be a goal, but it might not as well.
Super dangerous West Coast around stoppages in their forward half. They really set up a lot of scoring opportunities when they're at their stoppages. So many brilliant players around the ball. It's hard to stop them all.
Again, the margin is 1 point. It's hovering thereabouts. Malcheski putting McVeigh under pressure, holding the ball. Advantage called. It is a goal to Judd. It's West Coast by 7. Cousins kicked it.
It's a spoil sport. Chris Judd is a spoil sport. Wow. Well, do you reckon he had a lot of time? I don't reckon he had a lot of time, and that's a bad rule, but everyone's pretty happy with that. And,
it was lucky it was Chris Judd that kicked the goal. Anybody else might not have got away with it.
She's a good goal in here.
So it was Judd who kicked the goal. The plaudits to Cousins for the tackle. And West Coast lead by 7 points.
Yeah, I just still think he needs to have a bit spell.
Beautiful ruck work that time from Jolie to McVeigh. Some contact as he kicked it. Inside 50. They hit it hard. They always do. O'Keefe, he's the danger man. The Eagles well aware of that right now. Jones as they try and batten the hatches down. Chick to the wing. Malcheski, the margin is 7. You can't make a mistake, and he doesn't. Usually a beautiful deliverer of the ball. That time there was too much air on it for Vogels. Kerr just overran it for a moment. And now he finds Bevan for company. Vogels tries to wade through. That is not an easy task. And Rosa, there's a bit more of a spring in the step of the Eagles at the moment. And they are on again here. Although the chopping of the arms. It's a free kick to Lynch. Let's see whether he takes. No, glove's not off. So he's not shooting for goal. Staker! Oh, he thinks he's Superman tonight, and he just about is.
Well, every effort he's been involved in has had Superman qualities. And that's leaping tall buildings.
Just needed a cape.
With 1 bound.
You've got me. Who's got you? That was a massive leap by Staker. West Coast by 8 points after Sydney came out and kicked the first goal of the half. Everett hasn't played a big part, done some useful things. Disposes of the ball well with that left boot, puts it in front of McVeigh. Lovely collect from 55, places it beautifully, and leaping Leo can line them up.
That'll test the hammies.
Well, don't underestimate that play by McVeigh. He ran really hard to space for that kick, and then as clean as you like, has picked it up with one hand and then delivered. Just really wonderful play.
Started in 95, certainly, as I mentioned, as a forward. Really high leaping forward.
Oh, he is a dead set forward. He's split the middle. It's back to 2 points.
And normally they're either end of the ground, aren't they? Trying to hold things up. Tonight, Barry and Glass next to each other in the absence of Barry Hall. And with an injury to Leo Barry, he's overcome it to get the Swans back within 2.
Knock it out! Come on, give it a chance, guys.
And this long dance continues between the Eagles and the Swans. First time Hall's missed one of these 6 and now 7 perhaps epic encounters. Beautifully judged by Rosa from the goods clearance. There was time on the side of Lynch that time to make up for his fumble. This was Rowan Jones. And now Lynch, he's working quite a fair way up the ground over the last 15 to 20 minutes. Hanson going deeper. Good run out of defence. Hunter, awkward looking kick. Staker again! Mark off free kick. The free kick was paid. It looked quite normal, that mark.
Yeah, just
thought he could have jazzed it up a bit.
I was actually watching him just to see what he did, and I saw him just lose Grundy in the contest.
It's a big ask for Grundy now, isn't it? Who's normally a full forward.
Yeah, it is, but they probably need another key defender, don't they, the Swans? Got to find one somewhere.
At 20. At 20.
So, what a night for Brett Staker. 2 goals, 1. A sensational slips catch like mark. But the important thing now is to convert. And unfortunately, that has been the most difficult thing for the West Coast Eagles tonight. The margin is 3.
Thanks, Spud. Take it out, mate. Thank you.
Ty Kennelly missing. Leo Barry having to play forward with Barry Hall out, and Barry's hamstring twinged in the first half. So Sydney having to patch up the ship.
Hasn't gone.
But
No.
it is sailing along pretty well. Oh, here's trouble. Grundy gets out of the hole and finds Dempster.
Stay there.
So still just half a kick in it. Half a straight kick, that is. McVeigh to Craig Bolton. Needed to hang on hard. The free kick is paid. Hunter meeting him solidly. And Bolton, eyes fixed on the ball, copping it around the chops. Dempster now to Bevan. Kirk's there for him. And Sydney can build. He's after Barry again. O'Keefe there too. Waters, Glass. Brett Jones. And he has a good target. Long target, Rowan Jones. Embley. Quick movement by West Coast. Staker's come a long way up.
Cox running to space.
Embley keeps moving. And there is Cox. He's got a call from Lacroix in the 50. Running down the ground. Will it sit? Got it. Missed it. 4-point lead.
Well, he had the time. He had more time than he perhaps realised. The mobility of Cox. Started off half back, broke into space, half forward flank, set up that play. Just wonderful running by a big fella.
Interesting a stat, the 1%ers, 48 for West Coast, 21 for Sydney. Now that doesn't include tackles, that's just the knock-ons and blocks and all that sort of stuff. But the Eagles certainly desperate and trying to help each other out. Yet they lead by just 4. Kerr, Cousins, finds a way as he so often does. Stengline, good delivery. Again, Lynch just outside the range. Plenty of movement. Hunter, the likely target. He's in great position. And now the Eagles should extend. The mark not taken in the square, according to the umpire. And again, Ben Cousins has a say.
Yeah, I'm a good judge. Haven't taken him off. Hasn't got as many. I've just been watching him. He's just in and around the action. He's been okay still. He's still running okay.
Shouldn't miss from there. Certainly doesn't. It's out to 10. Haven't we seen that side a lot over the years? Hunter going back after kicking a goal all the way back into defence. I guess that's modern footy, but he is the swing man playing on O'Loughlin, and he's got from one goal square to the other.
It wouldn't be a Sydney West Coast game without Hunter going forward and kicking one or two. The margin 10 points. That's as big as it's been all night. Both teams have claimed such a margin at different stages. Hearn had nowhere to go. So Judd having a break of sorts. Everett, but finding Kerr, and away he goes. This could be dangerous for Sydney. Through the tackle. Seaby to Pritis, advantage called, and Staker on the lead.
Well, I think I've sung the praises enough of this young fella. I really do like him as a player. Michael, I've said a couple of times, I've really been waiting for him to blossom. He's got everything. He's got height, pace, can jump. Just needs, I reckon, a bit more motion with his kicking. I'm a bit of a fan of you get a bit of speed up when you kick. I tend to think he doesn't go quite quick enough. It's a dawdle in and doesn't quite get the momentum through the ball. This time's good.
He's got that right. The Eagles are getting away.
Yes, we're starting to get into unusual territory, aren't we, between these two sides. In the third quarter, it's out to 16. It is the biggest lead of the match. Kerr and Kirk. Not a great bounce. You heard what the umpire thought of it. Goods, Everett. Kerr somehow. Chick, a high one. One-on-one, they're testing Grundy out. He's got Lynch for company now, and there's more danger. Can Cousins add his name to the goal kicking list? Not yet. He's still in the mix, but this is Lacroix. He's their second biggest goal kicker of the year. You wouldn't know from that kick.
That's twice now. He's just panicked with it, isn't he? He's normally. I actually like him as a player, as a groundie, but he's just panicked a couple of times.
And we just saw in screen Cox has pushed forward and Jolly in foreign territory playing in defence.
So they're really trying to put the pressure on the Swans defence, aren't they now?
Nick Davis working back. Oh, it's a good mark. Rosa. The Eagles pressing. Looking to go for the jugular here. Kerr to Waters. Into the corridor and Lacroix. Better kick from further out. Malcheski was in the right position. Jolly and Cox. Cox the more mobile man. It'll be thrown in. In the last 7 encounters, neither side has ever managed to kick 90 points. They've tended to be between 60 and about 85. Cox brings it down. Chick just wanting to nudge it away and then collect it, but he got too much of it.
Well, in my rundown sheet, I've got a Sydney fight back very shortly.
They need Adam Goods to get back into it, don't they?
Yeah, that's good coaching material, Vossi. You'll get it that way.
Everett with Cox there, down to Chick. Cousins. Judd back. Swans having to hold tight here. They can't afford to give up another goal right now.
Paul Roos knows that. He knows what's at stake tonight. We've been concentrating so much on this rivalry. And, of course, Ben Cousins. But as you mentioned earlier, Tim, there is so much in terms of the season, and there's other supporters watching this game because the fortunes of some of those teams that are swarming both inside and outside the 8 ready to pounce. Now, the Swans just would probably like to have some control over the footy for a little while. They are masters of doing that. Malcheski finds it. A funnel through centre half forward to get it in. O'Loughlin had his hands full again with Hunter. So they've had some great duels, haven't they, over the last couple of years? Bo Waters. More Swans here than Eagles. Thought that could have been a free against Staker. Well done by Bolton. Jolly bending down. Then Leo Barry's gone back. He's going to try and go back to his normal position, perhaps. Jolly, Judd.
Big win.
Oh.
Big win.
Chick for Lacroix. Was that high? It was.
Outnumbered. The Eagles were outnumbered then and have won that. It was scrappy, it was tough, and it was hard, but it was a win.
Was it a throw, the little scoop that came out?
Look, and the other thing there is, I watched Bevan. Bevan is unbelievable with his attack on the ball, but at times he's reckless. He just has to be a little bit more subdued in a contest like that. Someone already has their head over the footy. It's now not the time to come in and belt in on somebody.
Couldn't agree more.
Just has to be able to realise that situation and make a better judgment.
9 goals, 4 from set shots for Mark Lacroix this year. This to take it beyond 20. Well, it doesn't do what he would have liked. And it's 17. 10-14.
You hear a lot of the experts today say you should be relaxed. The arms should be loose and relaxed. He looked a picture of tension as he came in.
Yes, he did.
Malcheski to McVeigh. And it's all back half defence for Sydney. Clinging by their fingernails, it would seem. But it's often seemed that way, one way or the other, in these contests. Schmidt. Not too much of the quarter left, and it's definitely been the Eagles' term.
Swans haven't scored for 12 minutes, Tim.
They kicked the first goal in the opening minutes. They've kicked only one since. No way to go forward at the moment. Jolly and Malcheski. Kirk, Fosdyke not quite expecting it. Lack of composure there. Malcheski gives it up. Not good. Cousins getting it to Rosa and then runs for him. And Shepherd's for Kerr. It's an open 50. Cox! The signs aren't good for the Sydney Swans.
I find this a fascinating play in football. As we watch Kerr kicking into that contest, just got rid of him, didn't he, rather than pushed him. It's Russian roulette with ruckman when they go forward, isn't it? Unless you're actually controlling the footy, do I go forward or do I go with him? Do I stop?
Cousins 26 disposals till late in the third quarter. Cox kicks the goal. The Eagles lead by 23.
Ben Cousins, and here's just some of the opponents he's had tonight. These are the significant ones. He's played 71 out of 85 minutes, and he's pretty much had the nod on all of them. McVeigh's been a good player and done some excellent things for the Swans and had 20 possessions, so probably broken even with Cousins. But what a return. And it looks like, it only looks like at the moment, that the Eagles are going to give a great present to Ben Cousins on his return because they lead by 23. I wonder if Paul Roos has got anything left. Leo Barry is back at full back on Quinton Lynch. There's Kerr. Very tired bodies. Lacroix out the back, rugby style. Rosa with the kick. Hansen could break loose. Just kicked quicker than he perhaps needed to, but it's going to work beautifully for Cox, the most nimble of all ruckmen, and they're jumping for joy in Subi.
Two goals to Dean Cox, one from a regulation big mark, the second from some slippery work from the big fellow. West Coast by 29 points. Sydney are tottering. Blows being rained on them. And right now there's not a lot of response.
Good tackling. Watch the arms.
The good news for them is that results today have gone their way. Adelaide and Essendon have lost. Sydney could lose and stay in the 8. Look at the inside 50s in this quarter, but it does suggest they'll be coming home to the scoring end. As we've surmised, there does seem to be a flutter of breeze, at least, to the end to which the Eagles are going in this quarter, in which they've kicked 6 goals to 2. Everett and Seaby, and Seaby won.
Just looking at options, Grundy's pushed forward. He's moved from the back line to the forward line. I just wonder whether it might be time for a change. Get Grundy perhaps back on Cox. He was playing there. Get Jolly up into the forward line or off the ground.
Rosa climbing in that time. Judd here under pressure. Vintage Chris Judd. That's a great sign for West Coast, and so's that. Touch, play on is the call. It's play on and no one realises. Now Lynch does. He loads and he hammers it home.
Can the night get any better for West Coast fans? Chris Judd.
It's a fingertip from Schneider.
Getting
that was
it
the
going,
play.
yeah, the fingertip from Schneider, and the goal from Cox. The margin is 35. No wonder they're worried in the Sydney coaching box. Everett, Kirk, just the man to try and do something about it. But it's all West Coast at the moment. Hearn for Jones. Stenglein is the supporting act. Pritis running for him around the corner. Braun approaching with Hansen. And they won't mind at all. There's a minute and a half to go in the quarter.
Just looking at Cousins 26, Kerr 21, Stenglein's at 14, and Hansen's kicked 2 goals and 12. They've picked up about 120 possessions more than last week, Michael. I think they can play those guys.
So coming back for Kerr from the free kick. Oh, that was not a great decision, and even worse disposal. So it gives the Swans a little chance on the counter. Lachlan's going to look up and see no one inside the 50. Kirk is surging in there. Not a great target for him. Perhaps O'Keefe could be the man on the double back. No, he instead goes for Grundy. Spiders wandering into the pocket. He's probably the best option right now for Grundy, but no, it's a more central idea. O'Keefe and Teddy Richards at the back. Hearn quite happy to get it over the line. 47 seconds. You do sense the Swans coming home with a breeze. Need to get a goal here. Hadn't been inside 50 for 15 minutes. See if they can remember what to do. Everett batted back by Jones and Waters.
The Eagles have gone past that magic number of 90 points. And it's the first time there's been a 7-goal quarter in any of their epic struggles with the Swans.
Now, Snyder is the perfect man doing what small men do up forward, and that is rove and kick goals. Just a little shake of the head for John Worsfold.
Well, the space opens up at the back there.
That's
just
an old
perfect
Swans
play. Absolutely perfect play.
Can't believe people still fall for it, can you? In the forward pocket with the Swans, they're the best at it, really,
Yeah,
aren't they?
they are very good.
I mean, they always get a goal minimum a game, I reckon, from that play.
They kicked 15 goals, I think, last week from clearances. Quite a staggering figure.
That goal is very important to them coming into three-quarter time also. Just keeps them in the game.
Margin 29. Peter Everett doing a Jason Ball impersonation there with his ruck work. Schneider finishing the job. There'll be about 15 seconds left after this clearance. Paul Roos not wasting any time getting down to ground level. Sydney faced with a very tall task.
Knock it out, fellas. Knock it out.
They don't want to concede a goal, and yet they'd love to kick one before three-quarter time. They won't. The quarter almost finished. Ben Cousins, 26 disposals. Three-quarter time, West Coast by 29 points. That might have been the quarter to break the nexus. They kicked 7 goals to 3. And they've put themselves in a winning position.
Well, certainly with Sydney, anything is possible. They know how to hang in games. They can kick those couple of goals quickly. But it was West Coast's ability to be able to get Sydney on the outside. They run into space. They got the ball going forward to their big guys and kicking goals.
Going to be a big task ahead of the Swans. Who knows? Maybe they can do it. We're ready for the last quarter, and so are Sydney and West Coast.
Sydney with a Herculean job in front of them. McVeigh. Straight to Chick. Cousins. Disposal 27. And even the bounce was perfect from his little hand pass. Braun. If West Coast kicked the first, surely there's no catching them. Ashley Hansen playing a bit of Heidi there. Lynch with 2 to beat. Kirk roving. Put Grundy under the pump. Embley, Staker. Grundy with him. Staker's been excellent. One of his best games. Mauling pack. Ball up.
Straight up.
And Cousins just doing a fair few stretches, just limbering up his hamstring. He is having some problems with it tonight. We wouldn't think so.
He's just off the pack here. And this man was off it too. He's charging to goal. Chris Judd. There must be something wrong with him.
It has to be. How many times in that pocket has he pulled something miraculous out?
Have a look at him on the move, though. Oh. That's the most important thing.
What about the ruck work, too, of Dean Cox?
Yep, tick all the boxes.
Michael, why do you, as a player, and you go to those contests, and you forget to just have your body in a forward motion? What, aren't you reminded enough? Do you get tired? Do you switch off?
Probably that's the main thing. Perhaps you do switch off. Perhaps you do get a bit tired. You need a bit of a rest.
Malcheski snookered, and just a little hand in the back there helps out Jude Bolton.
But it's not hard to do. It's just a forward. It's even a walk forward. It's motion. I find it. I still find it mystifying that everyone doesn't do it. Even with all the fitness available.
For Jude Bolton, 12 possessions, and that's an ordinary kick. Selwood, no mark paid. It was touch play on. Ben Cousins sets it up for Lynch. Got to negotiate 2 here. He was doing a lot of hefty body work. He did keep his feet for a while, Blighty, but in the end he bent the knees and got down and dirty and works out a draw, and the crowd are pretty happy with that.
Well, I congratulate him because he actually did, in the first instance, keep his feet. And he stayed in the contest a lot longer. See, now he can go back for a second effort.
And Judd trying to get to his feet. Grundy went to ground. Let's see. No, not that time for umpire Rosebery. So we'll have a ball up and see if the Eagles can come up with a knockout blow.
See who's on the move, Michael. I find this fascinating. That I know as a defender you've got to be somewhere near your opponent, but have a look. Let's have a look at what's Rosen wants to go up for ruck work. There's on the move. Guess who? One Ben Cousins.
Yes, he was looking to escape and kick a goal just to crown the whole night.
Let's go again, Blighty.
Just stand back. I find it a really good indicator of teams are up or players that are up. Just watch the ones who get that forward motion in their body, trying to find a space. Evan Cousins just switched around. There he is.
Lynch to Selwood, to Judd for the killer blow. He's done it. The Eagles are just about there.
Can't believe the teams have let us down like this. A blowout.
If there had to be one skill in football that's really improved, is under pressure, still being able to find a teammate. It is in a tackle situation,
no doubt,
or under pressure, has definitely improved unbelievably.
Cox and Tick. Waters. Quentin Lynch clapping his hands, calling for it. Wouldn't have been able to hear the clap, of course, because he had the glove on, but got the desired effect. And again, a long ball. Hansen, Staker didn't get to the contest. Rosa, McVeigh. Hansen wins the race. The floodgates are well and truly open now.
Well, when you look at a guy like Ashley Hansen, it's Paul Roos realises he's in Deep trouble now, but 3 goals a game from a centre forward, 66, Michael, just in an average year without finals.
Yeah.
You've become a pretty good player.
Outstanding. He's critical to their setup, no doubt.
Great spoil hunter on O'Loughlin. Chick giving it off. Brett Jones, Judd. It's all happening for the reigning premiers. Good pressure on Waters, who dallied, but Judd, gee, in the second half, he's really started to show flashes of his best. And his best involves lots of power running, like that. Goes to Lynch. Craig Bolton with him. Lynch again.
Good on you. Well
Giving
done.
it to Kerr. And West Coast keep pressing. Selwood running inside. Kerr, though, goes for Hanson. Richards the spoil. Dempster, Bolton. The other Bolton.
Too late.
Free kick, Sydney's ball.
Let's be careful. Downfield. That's it.
Craig Bolton to take it. It was relayed. Huge task at the moment against a much bigger man in Lynch. Ryan O'Keefe, who kept the Swans in it with 4 first-half goals. Fosdyke giving it to Bevan, who was running into Hunter. O'Loughlin for Jolly. And he hung onto it. And he can have a shot. Alas, the horse would appear to have well and truly bolted. And there's no coming back for the Swans.
Bolted? It's just gone into weighing for correct weight, Tim. Yeah.
Ruzzi's found that last snake.
Good on the stats.
Jolly, big fellow, threads it through. Swans pull one back.
Each of the Sydney ruckmen have kicked 12 goals this year and provided an extra avenue to goal for the Swans. Spider Everett kicked 4 last week. It hasn't managed to have a massive influence tonight. That's a lovely tap. Kerr doing a little bit too much, I think, on Brett Kirk. And there's the free.
Oh, there, Kirk. Brett Kirk.
And Staker was testing the umpire's patience there. Nick Davis, we haven't seen him for a while. There's Vogels, but right there with him, Darren Glass. He's a hard man to crack. Fosdyke, speculative handball at best. O'Loughlin just dived in and I reckon was a little bit lucky to come up with the free kick, but maybe the replay will show difference.
Here we go.
Consistent with those.
Here we go. They're coming.
Yeah, not much in it really. But you can see what the umpire was thinking. Don't worry, John Worsfold will be wary. I don't know what the sugar supply is like in the Eagles box. Maybe we can find out. But a couple of quick goals here might just have them a little nervous. O'Loughlin obliges, and it's back to 29.
Okay.
You've been using some boxing references tonight, Tim. This is Adam Goods from a moment ago.
He's a bit crotchety this year, isn't he? He's only had 12 disposals tonight. And his team's in trouble. 29 points down, but fighting to get back into it. Judd, good bounce for Embley. Malcheski with him under a tight hold. Lynch trying to get rid of Craig Bolton, who really is outgunned physically, but he's brave. Grundy working it clear to Kirk. Richards has Everett calling for it out wider. Now he can do the ruck work. Terrific crowd, beyond 40,000, and why wouldn't they come to see these two teams who have established as great a rivalry as there's been in modern football. West Coast are winning the night, but there's time left. Hanson around the corner. His 4th goal.
Well, we thought maybe until that goal, but now again it looks highly unlikely for the Swans. But what an impact the inclusions up forward have had. inclusions all around the ground have been pretty fair, but 4 for Hansen, 3 for Staker. 7 of the Eagles' 16 goals they've reached and gone beyond the 100-point. They haven't done that for 5 weeks.
And Hutto, the other ends, Cousins, 29 possessions. You've got Kerr, 23 possessions, Stenglein, 15. So they've all played critical roles for their team.
And Judd just seems to be getting better and better. He's getting the ball out of the middle, and they cannot do much wrong at the moment. Stenglein, and we've got anyone left to take a big high hanger. Here's Cox. He's already had multiple goals. No free kick. Goods had the behind post for company there. Later tackled. I don't think that one counts. Looking for Michael O'Loughlin.
Don't hold.
Cousins swarming around. And see him there just trying to sneak in, and when the opportunity was right. Kerr on the bottom.
Is it possible that on Brownlow night, round 16, we'll hear 3 votes, B. Cousins, West Coast?
Quite possible, I would have thought.
I reckon a little goal here will just give him that, top it up nicely.
It'll get a reaction.
Well, you've got to start looking around saying who's actually been better over the 4 quarters. And I mean, obviously an Eagles player, but you know, Kerr's been good. Chick was really good early.
Staker and Hansen have had a big say in the game.
Yeah.
Cox as well.
Yep.
There it is. Ben Cousins. Almost.
Oh, damn it.
And just clocks over the 30.
See how he moves?
Just good block. Got the block.
Yeah.
And on the move.
The difference, 36 points. Good long ball from Malcheski to Matthews, who kicked 2 first-half goals. And Vogels receives this one. One of the late inclusions. He and Heath Grundy coming in for Hall and Kennelly. Crippling injuries for Sydney. Ryan O'Keefe, the man who really did keep them alive early.
Only 3rd possession in the second half.
Goes for Davis, who just hasn't done enough up forward. They've needed him to kick some goals tonight. Oh, that might be deliberate from Stenglein. He was under pressure, but I reckon he was definitely after the line.
He's been important for them, hasn't he? Got some touches early. And
let's have a look here. What was he actually trying to do? I reckon there was only one thought in his mind, and that was to get it out of bounds. And he has another go. Now, second time. Second time lucky. 3 strikes and he'd be out, surely. Is there a 3 strikes policy on that?
No, there's not.
Can't disclose that, Tim, I'm afraid. 40 around from goal. Everett and Seaby. Snyder, who popped up late in the 3rd quarter for a goal. Ablett, not a bad effort to the top of the square. O'Loughlin, just for a moment, looked likely. 36 points the margin, and the Sting perhaps just about out of the game. But still, lots to watch, and let's see what Ben Cousins does to finish off the game and the reaction he's going to get from his teammates and mates. That's a terrific effort again from Davis, and it fell for Smith, who puts it through, and it's back to a 5-goal game.
Still time.
Well, yes, there is. Absolutely. Here we go. Just that little nudge. It was a very subtle nudge. No hands used, just a shoulder. Almost a little push with a shoulder, wasn't it? Just pushed him under the ball. Pretty, like 2 hands. You see the hands? I couldn't see it for the Oh, that's an excellent push, I'll have to say now. Wow.
And there's been a key matchup in the second half. Brett Jones has done an awesome job on Ryan O'Keefe.
He'd think he's just about there, but he wouldn't be absolutely certain. Sydney have kicked 6 straight since half-time. West Coast have kicked 10-6 for their 30-point lead. Sydney free kick. Can they kick the next? There's more than half a quarter to go. West Coast looked as though they had blown them out of the water when they met in round 1. Telstra Stadium. Dempster on the break. Places it for O'Keefe and O'Loughlin, but it's okay for the Eagles. Swans over the next 4 weeks with winnable games. It's a tough one in Sydney against St Kilda. That could be a very big match in round 19. And Brisbane at the Gabba are just starting to give a yelp, Vossi. You've probably noticed that. Oh, Jolly not quite able to get it onto a teammate there. The door was almost open. It might be yet. Nick Davis. I see it, but I don't believe it. Four goals in it. Still half a quarter left.
Nipping away, nipping away.
Ring a bell, Hutto?
Certainly does. Well, the Swans surging. You just cannot write them off.
Well, round one this year, they had the West Coast got away with 5 minutes to go. You thought game all over, and they were able to fight back and almost snatch it.
Is there a little bit of nervous tension around Subiaco? You bet there is. Kirk, everyone knows and respects what the Swans can do, and they're doing it right now. They're not giving in. There's one-on-one opportunities. There's Jones being courageous. There's O'Keefe going in to break it clear, but there's also backup, and it's Ben Cousins, that is. Handball for Pritis. Poor kick. Not his strength. The ball out to the wing. Now Jolly. Path cleared for him. Matthews, clever kick, opens it up for Dempster. They're coming again. Doesn't go deep, instead going short for Jude Bolton. Wanted to release the handball. No 50.
He's got to get in now.
O'Keefe's down there one-on-one with Jones. He's going to go to him. O'Keefe with the double back. Proppy, hang on for dear life and almost. Did he control it? Did he get enough bite on it? No, obviously according to the umpire. And again the Eagles go for the safety of the boundary line. And it's not quite over, and Glass forced almost to kick, and now the boundary umpire somewhat belatedly decides that it was out of bounds.
Jeez, I reckon that was a mark.
Here's that mark. It's stuck for me. There it is.
Oh,
that's
pretty clean grab.
Stuck.
Wow, I reckon that's a mark.
This is stirring stuff from Sydney. We had all given up on this game.
No, Vossi and I hadn't.
You blokes started it.
Geez, my shoulders are heavy.
9 minutes left. 4 goals in it. Kirk lurking. Davis. McVeigh. They've got another one. 3 goals in it.
We know that John Worsfold is taking this threat very seriously. Chris Judd just back on the ground, and Blighty.
Cousins, Kerr and Judd all in the middle of the ground with Cox. Would that be the 4?
The threat is real. The A-team in the middle, the margin 18. Let's see whether it's the Swans or Judd and his Eagle mates who can get the surge out of the middle. No surprise that neither of them can.
I want to know who Mr. T is in that A-team.
No, I can't answer that one. But they love it when a plan comes together, that's for sure. This is Glass.
Beautifully done.
Shoveling it back for Cousins, and now there's some options opening up for the Eagles. Braun's running to the wing if Embley wants to oblige. He doesn't, because no one was coming at him. Now Braun is the protector. Not such a great handball for Cox. Even his dexterity couldn't get down there. It might end up okay, though, for the West Coast Eagles. Still 8.5 minutes for the Eagles to negotiate. Embley trying a bit of Norm Smith stuff. And it still might come off. Pritis for Braun. Beats them all off. Gets it forward. Desperate spoil from Dempster. LeCras applies the tackle on Bevan. There's Kirk and Bolton collaborating. And they're out of defence. Or are they? Cousins almost fell onto the back of McVeigh. Good strong stuff from Waters. Allows Hearn, and now Cousins. They are on the retreat. Just on the back foot slightly here, the Eagles. We keep saying they just need one more. We've said it about 4 or 5 times.
Interesting. The 4 that we've called in the middle of the ground have all got to touch this quarter.
Kerr's got it now. The play on. Goes for Lynch, but it was easily chopped off. He just didn't go on with taking the mark down there, Bevan. Now Goods has to get rid of it cleanly. He does.
Well played.
Advantage paid. And can the Swans break? Schneider thinks they can.
And he backs himself. He waits for the right moment. There wasn't really a right moment. There was no one to go to. Glass, Kerr. Chick giving it off to Cousins for disposal number 34. And he goes to Lynch. 7 minutes left. Swans 3 goals down, but raising a mighty effort in this final term. Lynch goes for territory. Plenty of Swans defenders in front, but on ground level, Lacroix just didn't get the curl on the kick. He has not been able to hit the target.
Could that be the point, though, you've been talking about all night?
Yeah, they kicked 3 goals now, Sydney, and there's a point in it.
The 3-goal rule, Tim, what would happen?
Exactly. It's never been more valid.
Isn't it amazing with Sydney? You never get a chance to relax with them. You think this game's all over, and all of a sudden the intensity's gone up again.
Judd's had 7 possessions in this last quarter, and Cousins 8 for a total of 34. Well, the Swans can't afford too much time to be eroded. They'll know that. Rolling the dice on Jolly versus Cox. No free kick. Cousins still with an insatiable appetite for the ball. Prentice. Goods with the spoil. No, he went the mark. Fair enough. Kerr. Bolton. Wouldn't let him loose. Chris Judd. Will he have the final say? Oh, beautifully placed. Not quite though for Selwood. It's not over yet. Hurried kick from Braun, not bad, but
good scramble by Sydney.
Well done from Bolton to hold them at bay as we get ready into the last 5 minutes. It's 19. It's still a big mountain to climb for the Swans.
Beautiful description, Vossi. It was. They were against it, weren't they? It just looked certain that the Eagles would crack them there, but they held together. Here's O'Keefe, but they're onto him. Umpire lets it go. Good call. Now Embley finding it with Rowan Jones. McVeigh, who kicked the last goal in this run from Sydney. But the Eagles are stalling it now. They've taken the momentum out of the Swans. And it's going to be hard for Sydney, but you just can't count them out. Jolly did well there. Goods lifting. The Eagles are lifting their work rate too. Time enough. More than 5 minutes, 3 goals needed. Cousins, 35 disposals. It's been a stunning performance. There might be a twist in the tail of it yet.
And while Cousins and Judd and Kerr have been busy in this last term, Adam Goods has only had 1 possession for the Sydney Swans. So he'd love to have a say. The big man had to be careful there. Malcheski just blasts away, hoping for a mark. Would have come from an unlikely source in Richards. This is O'Loughlin around the corner. Around the corner. But just to the wrong side. And it's 3 even goals. And the 3-goal rule now would mean a draw.
It couldn't happen, could it? Well, everyone's getting a bit jittery. Cousins, disposal 36, has earned the hard way. But in the end, it was a good one.
Is he going to win the LCD tonight?
It'd be a Bravia man who didn't give it to him. As Rosa kicks towards Cox, a good target. Waiting down, Kirk, playing a terrific last quarter. He truly is the Lionheart. The pulse of the Sydney team, but what about this man? Cousins to Waters. That's untidy, dangerous. Stenglein gets it back though. Braun leads Matthews to it, collects with nice clean hands, and then holds things up. Stenglein, shocking kick, letting in Fosdyke. Fumble by Schneider. Cousins, Braun, Kerr, Embley, Waters. The Eagles hold up. Lynch. Good effort, Craig Bolton. Down to Schmidt. Back to Bolton. Swans will build again.
They are out on their feet. They all are. It's 5-on-1 here. And they are still giving it everything they can. Fosdyke and Embley see it over. Surely the tension which they've felt for the last 5 minutes might just be easing now for these Eagles fans. Cox, Fosdyke, Chick knows what the umpire wanted him. Kerr gets the 360 treatment. Fosdyke gives them another go. Goods, we said he hasn't had a big touch in this last quarter, but that one has helped produce another goal. It's not over yet. Back to 2 goals. Snyder kicks Sydney's 15th.
Oh, unbelievable. Fosdyke's effort on the wing was sensational. He just threw his body at it. And then Adam Goods just provided the contest that brought it to ground level. And front and square, perfect football.
Darren Glass claiming it was touched. Are we witnessing football impossibility?
Adam Goods gone forward. Hasn't had much impact in this last quarter, has been stated, but could be the X factor required.
The magic lives. The Swans are alive. They're coming. Kirk, Jolly, here they go again. O'Loughlin just couldn't get to the drop. The Eagles with the numbers, and they'll get a free kick. Braun was pushed in the back.
There's lots of things said about defensive mechanisms, and John Worsfold there's that touch from Glass, so probably was a right call.
Yes, Darren Glass protested that he touched the ball off Schneider's boot. It wasn't picked up. The goal counted. The margin 12 points.
Yeah, guys, get out.
More than 29 minutes gone.
What's the yards? What's the yards?
The Swans with barely time now. So many stories tonight. Ben Cousins, the biggest of them, is lurking near the fall of the ball, but Jolly gets it away to Fosdyke. Throw in. Cousins has had 38 disposals. His career high, 39. An extraordinary achievement on this comeback night.
Has been some long quarters, or at least one of them. And there's been 9 goals scored in this term, so maybe there is time. Judd, Bevan and Lacroix, it's important one-on-one. Bevan whipped to ground, Hanson's there, Jones surging, Lacroix doesn't go for goal, Lynch almost. Still time here for Bolton. Jones was there. McVeigh, little skit, can't afford to concede the behind. Surely he knows that. He did, had his wits about him. And the Swans need to just bolt. They've got to go for dear life. Grundy, couple of bounces. Unlikely man to be carrying it and surging out of defence. They're going the long way home. This is Fosdyke. Spent more time on the ground than usual tonight. All hands on deck to half forward. From behind, Selwood somehow gets it away from the dangerous O'Keefe. Kerr with one of those long and familiar penetrating handballs. Judd, the Eagles have the answers for the moment. Lynch with Hanson a target. He just adapted the kick very nicely. Lacroix one-on-one with Bevan inside 50 if he decides to give him the chance. Instead, he's going to roll the clock down as far as he can. And go for Rosa instead.
Pretty cool stuff here from the Eagles. They've actually controlled this last minute and a half when it looked really dangerous.
Well, one more score would certainly finish them off. And Rosa taking his time. And then the umpire's patience ran out. Back for Kerr. Now Sydney should know that they have to get man on man here. It's pretty obvious stuff. And it does usually take a minute or so for the defensive team to do it. Swans, of course, are never too far away from their
Always
opponents.
certain he was going to call play on then.
Well, the umpire's on the job. This is Kerr to try and find a way through. Hunter from behind. Made the likely leap. This is Judd. Not even he could find the way to goal. But the Eagles lead by 2.
The Swans without Hall and Kennelly when the game began have been heroic. It mightn't be enough though. The Eagles by 12 points. Still the Swans battle away. McVeigh working it forward. Jude Bolton head over the ball. Tremendous courage. McVeigh kept coming. Richards, Craig Bolton. Here they go again. Bevan for Sydney. Can someone take a mark? Unlikely. Schneider was there lurking if it fell for him. Waters goes for safety. Chick covers it. The Eagles win, but it's another classic. And Ben Cousins' comeback will be remembered as long as football is played in the West.
West Coast Eagles, and we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high. We're the Eagles, West Coast Eagles, and we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high.
Unbelievable noise down here for the West Coast Eagles, and probably Ben Cousins with a great return. He was a bit reluctant to speak, no surprises there. Ash Hansen, great to have him back though. It's been probably a big night for celebrations for Ben.
Yeah, it's a long time coming, and he made a difference tonight. We want to play for him, and they've always raised the bar, I say.
I mean, I know you played in the Premiership and everyone's feeling good, but what about the roar when they came onto the ground for Ben Cousins?
Yeah, sensational, and he deserves. He's a great fella. He's been through a lot, and he's come back inside, and we've welcomed him with open arms.
How tough has it been for you, for the player group, for Ben, to put it all together?
We just stick to what we do each week, and we've had a few distractions. We're over those now. We've got some great challenges coming up, and we're looking forward to it.
It's funny though, isn't it, when you come back, you have a great influence, but it's all about Ben.
Oh, it is. He's a great player. He's played so many games, all Australian, best and fairest, and he deserves the accolades he gets.
They were coming at you again, Sydney, weren't they?
Yeah, they always do, like we do to them, but we're good enough for them to hang on.
Dare I say, is this a turning point?
Oh, I hope so.
Well played, mate.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you, Tim. Ashley Hansen, he played his part. 4 goals to, and as Goss said, it's all about Ben Cousins. 38 possessions, 22 kicks, 16 handballs. Amazing stuff, Malcolm Blight.
Well, it was, and look, 7.5 goals up. I mean, it was 6.5 goals up. I mean, they were gone, but the Swans, they are a unit, aren't they? But what a great comeback. Hansen was good. All the ones coming back were good. Eagles still have some work to do, I reckon.
Fair call, but they've done enough tonight. Ben Cousins, as we said, a star on his return. I reckon if they could, they'd be kissing Cousins tonight. 38 possessions. The Eagles home by 12 in another...